Welcome to Divorcing Strong, the podcast that pulls no punches when it comes to divorce. I'm Becky Sampson, better known as Bulldog Becky Brockovich, and I'm here to give you the straight talk, the strategies, and the subpoena secrets you won't hear anywhere else. With expert guests and proven advice, you'll learn your rights, your options, and gain your power that encourages a fair and equitable outcome. Divorce doesn't have to break you. It can build you. Let's get to it. Okay, welcome everybody to another episode of the Divorcing Strong podcast. Yes, this is the third one in one day. So I am so blessed to be able to bring to you amazing people and their stories, their resources, their wisdom. I'm kind of getting into this groove of how I like to do these podcasts, and every day I could be thinking, I've got to do something a little different every time. And I started today's earlier podcast with a quote. And my second podcast, we talked about like music. Music is so important to me. When I was going through my divorce, I used music as a way to keep me going when I literally felt like I wanted to give up a million times over. And one of the songs that I have really appreciated over the years is a song from Wicked called For Good. We talked about it on one of the other podcasts, but I thought, for the quote, I think I'm going to use this one little bit of this song. So if you haven't heard it and you're going through a divorce and you're wondering like, why is this like not making sense? Why am I going through this? For what purpose? This brought me a lot of peace, and I'm going to read it. But it says, I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn, and we are led to those who help us most to grow if we let them and we help them in return. And that's just a part of that song, but the whole purpose for me, or what it served for me when I was listening to that song, is that I don't have to be bitter. I can become better and understand that everything serves a purpose for my journey and for my personal growth, and that I can leave relationships or marriage in a place of love and compassion instead of bitterness. And sometimes that is harder than we like to know that it happens. So anyway, going to go ahead and leave that with you. Also, just want to remind you, as I always do, go ahead and download this free download. It's 100 divorce terms. If you're in the middle of a divorce, you are just starting, contemplating it, or wherever you're at in that process, this is going to be one of the greatest tools that you get, because it is the language of the legal system. And the more you're educated about that language and those terms, the more you're going to be able to be empowered in working with an attorney, or if you are doing it pro se, like I did for most of mine. So I really wanted to bring you something that you can do, or if you have a friend that's doing it, give it to them as well. So anyway, with that, I want to go ahead and read about what our guest is today. Her name is Margarita Eberline. She is the unstoppable founder of Marketing Boss, a thriving marketing consultancy and a true testament to resilience and determination. As a mother of 5, Margarita faced the unimaginable navigating a personal divorce, a custody battle, and the dissolving of a business partnership, all at the same time. Despite these challenges, she refused to let adversity define her story. As the personal breadwinner for her family, Margarita rebuilt her business from the ground up while ensuring her children had the love and stability they needed. Her journey is one of grit, grace, and growth, providing that even in the face of overwhelming odds, success is possible with perseverance and purpose. Today, Margarita empowers others to overcome their own challenges, sharing her insights in entrepreneurship, personal growth, and balancing the demands of business and family. Her story is truly inspirational, and to anyone striving to rise above life's toughest moments and come out stronger on the other end, which is exactly what this podcast is about. And I want to go ahead and welcome Margarita to the show. And we are matching today.
Yes, it's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And as we come out of this podcast, a lot of people, I bring professionals and support and everything, but I love that you have such an amazing story of grit, because I love being able to provide opportunities for people to see, look, you can make it through some very, very difficult things. And you definitely are a testament to that. You've been through a bit of a journey. So let's kind of back up just a little bit, kind of tell people the backstory. And now you work with attorneys, but what got you to this point, and how did you make it through it?
So the backstory is that I made some changes in my personal life, meaning I had a lot of time to think about, what do I want my life to be like? And that's kind of where it all started. And around the pandemic, that internal conflict of, this is who I am, this is what I want in my life, started to create friction in my relationships. And it was very scary, because I was in a business partnership, and then I was in a marriage, and there were similarities that were unhealthy with both of those. And I started by separating myself from the business. So that business divorce, as you can probably imagine, was like just financially, like I went from, having a solid income and being a third owner of a business, to all of a sudden zero income with a non-compete. So I couldn't just start another business it, which is what I'd been doing since forever. And it was scary. And then you would think that I would be exhausted from that, and I would just conform. But no, it had the opposite effect. I was like, you know what? While I'm at it, like, let me continue clean house. And then I decided to, get a divorce from my spouse. Because again, these were all just changes happening within me, where I was making decisions, life choices for myself, and making the hard choices of cutting myself off from people that didn't align.
Yeah, I have to say, Margarita, on the last podcast, we talked about that, how sometimes a divorce can be a total clean house. And I know you have said before that sometimes even that business divorce was even harder than the real divorce. And you were dealing with both of it with 5 kids.
Yes. And sole breadwinner, and financially, it was probably one of the scariest, but also one of the biggest blessings that taught me that everything that I ever feared, like losing my business, losing my income, not being able to work. By the way, I had just had child number 5, like literally still nursing the baby, and doing all of this. And so I realized through those experiences that, wow, I'm made out of something else. And so now whatever comes my way feels easy, because compared to that, I just have so much joy. It's weird. Not that I'm a masochist or anything, but having gone through that and having survived that and overcome it really helped me see what I'm really capable of, and that I don't have to rely on anyone. And it really informs the way that I manage my relationships, and even whether it's business or personal now. I no longer have this pattern that I used to have, for example, where I would get a client and I was afraid that they would leave, or, you know what I mean? Or get into a business deal and get anxious if it didn't work out. I've let go of all of that, because now I understand that when I am centered, when I am aligning with what I'm about, people will come and go. And we have seasons, where certain people, like that beautiful quote that you read, even let's say the villains, right? Even they have a beautiful purpose. And I've learned how to love everybody. And I'm not saying that to be hokey, but anybody who's ever caused me pain, I've genuinely gotten to a point where I'm like, oh, I understand. They came with this interaction, but it left me this gift. So I thank them, I love them, and I release them. Right. So
I love that you said that too, because it really is. It's a big exercise of letting go. And I know now, kind of years later, you can look back and kind of laugh and be like, oh, that's, but seriously, when all of this was crashing down, because there may be some people that feel like they're in that place and they're like, I don't even see a way out. What did you do, or what was the mindset, or what were the things that you told yourself, or what did you support you got around you to keep going and just not give up?
Thank you for asking that question. I'm going to paint the picture for you. I was about to slit my wrist. Like, that's how dark it got for me. Just gave birth, like not that long ago, 5th child, no support anywhere. And I felt like everybody was just bleeding me dry. Okay.
Mhm.
I had about $150,000 in debt that my ex-business partners stuck me with on top of that. So like, it was bad.
Mm.
And I did the only thing that I can do. If I can paint you a picture, I was like a shriveled up flower about to die. Like, that's how I felt.
Right.
I did the only thing that I can do, which was look toward the sun. And the equivalent of that is asking for help. I called a mindset coach and I told her, I have no money. I know you know me, like in passing, because I knew her in passing. And I followed her on social media, and I reached out to her and I said, I really am going to ask you, I will pay you every penny, but I have no money right now. Can you please help me? Because I'm about to slit my wrist. Like, I don't know what else to do. There has to be a way to navigate this darkness. And she was my lifeline. And it was like a little drop of water, right? To just give me that extra strength. And then I did the work. I did all the exercises. I did the therapy. I read the books. Like, I started meditating. Like, I started, praying, thinking different, and it just catapulted from there. And now I joke with her because she's actually a mindset coach in my business. And we were going over, like our forecast or whatever. And I was like, and to think that you took me on for free. Now look at you. Cause she's doing, she's generating revenue now from my business. And I'm like, I'm honored that I'm able to pay you back in this way, that you helped me when I like had nothing but my bleeding little heart. I was like, please help me.
I know. And it does feel very, very lonely in that space. I mean, were you the type of person at that point to ask for help, or was that a really big stretch for you?
No, I am a childhood domestic survivor. And one of the common characteristics of people that have overcome those types of situations as children is that you're like hyper independent. And I am now a recovered hyper independent person. Like, I'm still very independent, but I've gotten a lot smarter about not trying to do everything on my own. And I've become a lot more aware of when I'm taking on too much. And I've also learned that people like the right people, they like helping. Like, this mindset coach, she really enjoys her work. And it was an honor for her that I would reach out to her, and ask her for help. She likes that. So there's people out there that want to help.
Yeah, that's what I found about this industry is, I mean, I've been networking huge this year and finding people that are in this space because their heart is in it. They genuinely, I say this all the time, but it's beautiful to be in this space where people are like, look, I've been through hell and I want to be able to help other people through this. And we do. Like, I also will take any call if anybody's in a dire need and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm like, fine, then reach out to me. Let's jump on a call. Because I remember what it's like when you get to that point where you're just like, I can't do this anymore. And I'm grateful that you reached out because the world needs you because you are a powerhouse. So financially, how did you kind of get beyond? I mean, did you do the divorce by yourself or did you have an attorney? I can't remember.
Because of the whole money situation, I'm like, oh my God, I had all these legal fees from the business divorce already.
Yeah.
And so like that liquidated a lot of my stuff that I had left. And I'm like, I'm smart. I went to Berkeley. Let me see if I can just fill out this paperwork. And so God loves me because like I get saved from myself a lot. So I go to a conference as, marketing boss, like where I work with attorneys. So I went to an attorney conference and I'm like networking with attorneys, right? And I'm drawn to this divorce attorney and I'm like, she seems nice, and I was like, hey, can I ask you something? I'm doing this divorce myself. because I can't afford to hire someone, but, would you mind just looking over my paperwork? Right. And she's like, sure. And she was so sweet. She's like, well, you forgot to address this. You forgot to address this. And she was like, she wasn't trying to sell me. She was like, I really admire what you're doing, and, that you're a mom, because again, we were networking, and she was like, I'm happy to help. And something spoke to me, like, just hire her. Right. And I was like, can I just hire you? And so like, I hired her. I'm like, I don't even know. Like, I'm like, look, I don't know how much this is going to cost, or whatever, but my spirit is telling me that I need to give this to you, that I need to not do this on my own. And I need to just have faith that I'll get the money that I need, and this will all work out. And so that's how I ended up hiring my divorce attorney. And we're friends till this day. I consider her a friend. She's an amazing, amazing attorney, and one of the things that I love about her is she wasn't trying to like be my therapist or anything, but she always wanted to know how I was doing, how I was feeling. Like, she treated me like a person, it wasn't just always about the clock. And she's like that with all her clients. Like, it wasn't like she was giving me special treatment. She's very much a conscientious divorce attorney that understands that this is as much of an emotional process as it is a legal process. And so she addresses that, in a very light way. Again, she's not there to be anybody's therapist, but like, she has genuine care and concern for her clients, to make sure that she's providing that service, but also taking into consideration how people are feeling, and not just getting into the discussion about the legal aspect of the divorce.
Yeah. And I appreciate that too. And I call that experience where you met her and you guys went through that is a total God drop. Like, it's, no matter what people's beliefs are, either way, I just know that there's a higher power that's knowing where you're at any given moment, that's there to support you. And I love that he brought you guys together, and you're like, you know what? I just feel like this is going to be the match.
Yeah.
And she helped you through that. And so how long did your divorce last?
Oh my God. I don't even know. It felt like forever. So it went from, we're going to just agree and sign and be done. And then it just got like, and just dragged on. So I want to say it maybe lasted like a year or a year and a half. I don't know. It felt like forever. I think I blocked it out. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. You were in survival mode. And so what were some of the things that you did to help support your children through the process? I know you were kind of trying to survive. How did you support 5 kids?
So I don't advise this. I think I could have done this better, but this is what I did. Because my ex-husband was very emotional, and I was the one that was wanting to leave, that was wanting to end the marriage more than he was, I decided to leave the home and give him and the kids space. Obviously, I wasn't going to take the kids, but I made that decision because I felt like it was very toxic for my children to have all that like emotion in the house. Mm-hmm. I think legally it wasn't the smartest thing, but I made that executive decision for the sake of my children and their sanity. It was also probably not the wisest decision, because it then created more separation between me and my kids, because that narrative of, mom's abandoning us, like, that's how they felt. And that's what they were being told. Right. Like, I remember one of my kids told me, grandma said, my ex-mother-in-law, grandma said that if you really loved us, you would come back. And I was like, oh my God, like, this is what so anyway, so I had to deal with all that. Right. So what I did was I honored their opinions. I honored their space. I didn't argue. I didn't like get into, correcting. I let them feel, process, and I was just present. And a lot of this was thanks to coaching that I was getting to help me through this process, right? I didn't come up with these ideas on my own. And I did a lot of therapy during that time too, to really figure out, okay, what do I want my next chapter as a mom to look like? And I still remember like it was yesterday, one therapy session where I arrived at this conclusion, because the good therapists, they help you arrive. They don't tell you, right? Mm-hmm. And I kept saying, oh, my kids are better off without me. I'm just gonna pay for everything. That's what they're used to from me anyway, blah, blah. And I arrived at this aha moment through the therapy that the reason why I wanted that was because in my mind, I couldn't be a present mom and a provider at the same time because of what I had experienced, where I was always just pushing, being a provider. And so I was not a present mom. And because in my mind, I couldn't grasp that I could do both, that I deserved both. And so it went down the rabbit hole, right, through that therapy where I was like, oh my gosh, you know what? I'm going to have the courage to engineer. I have this opportunity to engineer a life where I can be an amazing provider, because if I engineer my business right, why shouldn't I be able to do it? Like, there's people on yachts doing nothing and making millions of dollars. Like, why can't I do it? I'm smart, right? I can scale. And I can be a present mom. I can pick them up at school and bake cookies and do all the things that, I didn't get to do. And once I started to believe that, conceive, everything changed. And then I became more present, more connected with the kids, started spending more time. Again, I gave them space because especially my 2 or 3 oldest were angry at me. They were like, we don't want to go with you. We don't want to live with you. And now I can honestly say, like, everything's just, I can't, like, I've traveled with them. They like coming over and spending time with me. Like, I spend time with them and their friends. Like, it's just, I couldn't conceive of this until I had that mindset shift. And I realized that I was having that limiting belief that I have to choose provider or mom, but I can't have both. The moment that I said, you know what, I'm going to believe that I can have both, and I'm going to work toward that. And I'm going to have faith that my kids can feel me as a present mom and also have that stability from me. I can give them that, and I can give myself that, right?
It's interesting is that we call that the or concept, right? People say I can have this or that, and we call it the and. So you say, and I can be a mom and I can be a provider. And then somehow amazing that you'll come up with creative ways in order to have that happen. And I oftentimes tell people when they're right in the thick of it with that feeling like going, oh my gosh, when are my kids ever going to come back? Are they ever going to see the truth? Are they ever going to want to be with me again? In that moment, I'm sure you didn't see this actually happening, the gift of being in their lives as much as they are at that time. How did you keep yourself going, okay, just be patient with the process?
Well, full disclosure, my oldest, till this day, he's not angry. We get along great. He doesn't want to spend time with me. And because for whatever reason, he's at an age, right? So I'm going to use him as an example, and I apply the same thing to all the kids. The other mindset shift was, my kids are not here to please me. My kids are not here to fill a void. I get to enjoy my kids, and they have a journey, and I have to respect it. And sometimes that journey means, a happy birthday text and then nothing for months. And sometimes that journey means, Mom, can you hang out with me and my friend? Like, whatever it is, I accept it. I embrace it. I enjoy it for what it is. And I don't try to force it. So because of that, I don't have any pain around anything that might be perceived as rejection or distance. And I did that healing during the time when my kids were rejecting me. Like, they really were. They were like, Mom, we don't want to go with you. We don't, like, I centered myself and was like, okay, I made peace with it. Like, if you guys don't want to be in my life, that's fine. That's fine. I'm here. And I kept offering, not from a place of, I need this, I can't be happy without this, but from a place of, I really love my kids and I want to pour into them. That was my energy that I was really putting into the relationship. And 4 out of 5 responded, right? In ways that, like, brought them back into my life. But I'm okay with I'm okay with all of it, I'm okay with the ones that want to spend a lot of time with me. And I'm also okay with the one that's off, working, going to school, living his life, mainly living with his dad. I'm okay with that too.
What I hear you saying, Margarita, is that you honor their journey through this process, and that you're honoring whatever it is, wherever they are. And I say this oftentimes too, when people get remarried, I'm like, you need to honor whatever whatever relationship you're going to have. You can't push and force somebody into a relationship. And it's hard sometimes when you just are like, oh my gosh, is this ever going to end? But I like that you put the focus back on them and not on, they have some kind of a need to fill within your heart or in your soul. You're doing your own work independently to that. And you get excited when they do let you in and let you open up that door for you.
Oh yeah, I love to play with my kids. I'm definitely getting in touch with my inner child. And part of the reason why I'm able to honor their journey is because I was able to honor my own.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so now and how long ago was this divorce?
Again, feels like forever. Timeline wise, I think it was like final, maybe a couple of years ago. Yeah. Okay. Like 2-3 years ago, maybe. Yeah.
So what do you find now looking back, right, on your experience? What do you think you would have done differently, or what did you really, think, hey, I nailed it on this, but I wish I would have done something different?
I think I would have probably planned better and stayed in the home and like actually been more aggressive legally, because I think at the time, and this was me and my mindset, I didn't buy the story, but I bought into it a little bit of, oh, like I'm the bad guy, because I'm the one that is wanting to grow and expand. I had a little bit of guilt about that. Mm-hmm. And this is something that I figured, in therapy, like when you're young and ambitious and people are constantly telling, oh, you do too much, you want too much, it's too much. And then your spouse is saying, oh no, you're the problem because nothing's good enough. You know what I mean? I felt guilty a little bit, not too much, because I mean, obviously I went for what I wanted, but I gave in way too much. And I wish I would have had more wisdom and actually like stood my ground. Like we ended up losing that house because he was so angry that he like stopped paying the mortgage. Yeah. Like, even though it was court ordered, hey, if you're going to live there, you got to pay the mortgage. He just wouldn't pay it. And I'm just like, wow, I should have just stayed in that house and our kids could have still had that house. Like I would have paid for it. You know what I mean?
Well, so that's the interesting thing that it just gets underneath my skin when people say, oh, I wish I would have known more. I would have made different decisions. And that's like, this is why we do what we do, is so that you can have, I mean, everything happens for a reason. I truly believe that, and at the same time, I just think, gosh, if you could just reach out and do a little bit more research and advocate for yourself. And many times as women, I find that that's not something that we're used to. So standing up for ourselves and our kids so that we don't have regret when we get on the other side and be like, shoot, I wish I would have done that. I mean, you've now really built a very successful business. Like you've picked yourself up and you're back on track. Tell everybody kind of what you're doing now and why are you passionate about that?
So the non-compete that I had, which led me to have nothing, actually created a space where I had to get really creative. And now I'm actually doing what I think I was meant to do anyway. So it's all good. Mm-hmm. As an agency owner, I would execute marketing services with a team. And so as an agency owner, I could only execute whatever I had the infrastructure to do. Mm. My DNA is I'm a data analyst. I'm a strategist. I don't like being confined to whatever tactics I have a team to execute. Mm. Yeah, right? So as a CMO, I don't have that problem. My firm Marketing Boss provides a very unique solution that I will compare it to like a realtor that helps you buy a house, doesn't sell you the house, but they're there to guide you. That's missing in the marketing space. Yeah. Many law firm owners, which is mainly who we work with, and really business owners, they invest in marketing, but they don't know what they're buying. They don't understand how it works, and they waste a lot of money. And they go to the seller, right? Like the person selling you the home, and they're always going to paint you the picture of why this makes sense for your business because that's how they make money. I get to be a neutral, my team and I get to be neutral advisors and not with opinions. What's awesome about this business is everything is data driven. Mm-hmm. If I tell you go with red and not green, it's because I'm drawing on data about color and feelings and what you're trying to create and how that connects with your brand. Like even in design, there's data. So as an example, right? But of course, we analyze marketing data, we analyze sales data, and we help business owners make informed decisions with data. And then we also help to manage projects, because that's another bottleneck. How many times, if a business owner, if you're listening, how many times have you sat with a marketing team and had all these wonderful ideas and then nothing happens? Because there's no orchestra leader making sure that the web person communicates with the video person and that everything's synchronized. So that's what we do at Marketing Boss, primarily for law firms, but we do work with other businesses as well. And I love this business. It's so liberating. I feel like I make people's lives easier. My team is amazing. We have data analysts, we have designers, we have, brand experts, we have project managers, like call auditors, because we also have a sales program. And that's where the mindset coach comes in. She does a lot of mindset coaching for folks that are picking up the phone at the law firms, to make sure that they're honoring all the marketing and converting that lead. So it's a whole comprehensive, unique solution that really fills all the gaps that are missing in the marketing space for business owners. I've been told that there are probably easier ways to make money, because it's like nobody knows what a CMO is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or that you even need the leadership. But I really feel like this is going to be really big. I want this to be the norm. I want business owners to be protected, just like people are protected when they're buying a home with a realtor. That's my big vision, to just revolutionize the marketing space. I know it's very ambitious. It's too much, right?
You know what I love about you, Margarita? First of all, from the first time I met you, because I met you a couple months ago, and you are a huge ball of energy. Number one, I love it. I also love what I heard you saying is that through your pain, and it just really depends on people's choices, but your grit, your pain, your willingness to not give up gave you your purpose. And now you're in this place, you know what your weaknesses are, you know what you need help with, you know how you can create a team. I tell anybody, I'm like, look, if you have 5 kids, freaking, you know how to do a team, right? Like, you got to manage a team. And it doesn't mean that you have to be perfect, but I love that you have found a space where you know that your talents and abilities can be used and utilized, I should say, and you're running with it. And you're like, this is it. I love this space, and I love supporting people. And I love that I'm a data person too. Like, you're like me. And you think, oh, this is too big of a dream. No. Nothing's too big of a dream. And that's what I love when people are coming out of divorce, is that if you can dream, if you can have vision, if you can, you don't have to be an entrepreneur, but know that there's this beautiful life on the other side of divorce that you have no clue is even there.
Yeah.
And you're proving it.
And I'm a big believer, by the way, in marriage and in making it work, and in being a person of your word and doing everything that you can. But what I've learned is not to cross over into the space of I'm suffering and that's okay. Like, that's not cool. And I think that's the line that I don't think I'm ever going to cross again. But I do believe that some relationships are really worth working through, and that you can experience I could have experienced this within the context of that business relationship and that marriage just the same. It's not, that doesn't always have to be the way, right?
Yeah.
But it can be. Like, either way, your path is your path. Whatever you're wanting to evolve to, like, as a soul, as a person, you're going to get there. And it's just, sometimes it happens with people that, you love, that you think are going to be there, forever. And sometimes they go away, and that's okay.
Yeah. You make me think of a podcast that I'm going to be releasing here in a couple of weeks with Santa, because even Santa gets divorced, right? But he wasn't Santa in his first marriage. It was his second marriage where his wife's like, you're Santa. And now he's this huge Santa all across the United States and blesses so many people's lives. But I think you're right. Well, I know you're right. I also am a huge believer in making marriages work. However, there are times where you need to move on for various reasons. If divorce wasn't, people always say to me, Becky, you say you're not divorced, but look where you'd be today if you weren't divorced. And I'm like, I know. So I appreciate you bringing that fact up too. So you can also thrive in a marriage and in a good, healthy relationship, because that is the key. Yeah. So, and you're a walking testament of that. And thank you so much for for you doing it. And really thank you for sharing your story today. Because I appreciate it. It sometimes is a little bit of a vulnerable place to share what worked, what didn't work during that process. And you were like, yeah, absolutely. I'll come on and share. So I hope people find hope through that. So my last question to you is, what does divorcing strong mean to you?
Ooh. Divorcing strong means doing it with love for yourself and for everybody involved. And yeah, it's just doing it with love. That's what divorce and being happy, like being joyful, finding joy. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. It really is an inside job. And the more we can look within ourselves and keep our hearts soft during that process, it just makes all the difference in the world in coming out the other side stronger.
Yes. If you're going to get a divorce and be angry, then what was the point? You should have just stayed like,
yeah. Exactly.
Be happy.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much, Margarita, for your time today. I know you're super busy and you do amazing stuff in the world. And I appreciate that we get to match, right? You get to
yes.
watch the Christmas party.
I'm going to a Christmas thing, so I'm wearing my Christmas colors. So yeah.
I know. I love that. I don't have the green on, but that I always love it when we match. Like yesterday, my guest and I matched. We didn't even mean to, but that happens. So
that's cool.
But well, thank you everybody for joining us on another episode of Divorcing Strong podcast. And I will look forward to having you. I don't think we have any more of this week. So we will see you next week. Until then, we'll talk to you later. Thanks for listening to the Divorcing Strong podcast. This episode is sponsored by Only Subpoenas, where we make subpoenas simple, powerful, and 100% compliant. If you're having a hard time getting the information you need to settle for a fair and equitable divorce, let us help you. Whether you're an attorney or you're navigating divorce on your own, subpoenas can uncover the truth, secure the evidence you need, and level the playing field. To see how we can help, book an appointment by visiting our website at onlysubpoenas.com.